Good day, everyone. My name is Benjamin Sombi. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do data visualization in Streamlit, or how to turn your Excel sheet into a data visualization app using Streamlit. So at the end of the tutorial, we should be able to create an application like this one, where we're able to import data. And then once you import the data, you should be able to then use drop downs to create the graphs that we want, and should be able to do explorations. So the data that we are going to use is HR data, and this data it's open source, which means that you can it can be used by anyone. So this data contains employee demographic information, and and for that data it indicates which employees left the organization and which ones are still within the organization. Okay, so let's dive right into it. Thank you. So first I'm going to open VS Code. So for this tutorial, we'll be using VS Code to write our application. Okay, for the sake of time, I've already imported the data, and also I've also provided the requirements text, which shows the packages that you are supposed to import and their versions, if you are going to make this app work. Okay, so as for me, I have already imported these packages, so I'm not going to import them again. So we're just going to just go right away into the development. So let's create a Python file. Let's call it app.py, and this is the application that we are going to put all our code. So first of all, we are going to import pandas, because remember we are going to work with the data, so we need pandas. And then next we need to import Streamlit. Remember, since we are using Streamlit, we have to import Streamlit. Okay, and then next we're going to import our data visualization package. So in this case, we're going to use Seaborn, but you can use any data visualization that you want. It's just your choice. You can use Plotly, you can use many other data visualization packages that are out there. So here we are going to mainly use Plotly and MATLAB. Okay, import. Okay, we left something here, that's why it's giving us an error. We should put pyplot exactly like this. All right, so we are done with importing our packages. Now we move on to the second stage, where we now want to set the page titles. Let's set the page titles here. Okay, so first let's do some page configurations. Okay, so we say Streamlit. So anything that you'll be writing in Streamlit, that you start with st, as you saw there. That's the standard way of calling the package. Okay, so let's call this Excel data visualize. session. Okay. All right. So now we can now put our title. All right. So the title will be employee attrition. Remember, it's all about employee attrition. So let's call it employee attrition data visualization. Okay, and then and next we then need a subheader that will act as an instruction to someone who will be importing the data. So the subheader we can name it like feed me with your excel data. Okay, so this will like give an instruction anyone will be then using the application to say what are they supposed to do. So okay, so we are done with setting up the titles. Now I think we can set up the part where we need to then upload the data. So let's say uploading data. Okay, so let's go. So let's say uploaded file. Let's call this variable uploaded file. This goes to Streamlit dot file uploader. Okay, and here we would want to give an instruction for the users to choose in Excel file. So let's write it like this in short. Okay, and we want the type of this uploader to be only Excel. So we have to specify the type here. Okay, so if the uploaded file, all right, if the file is uploaded, let's put a markup that will then a markdown that will create space between the data that will be uploaded and the next section that we are going to put, where we'll be using those drop downs that you saw. So our data frame will now be pandas.read. Here we want to read Excel. Okay, and our Excel should be the uploaded file. Okay, and it should use in terms of the engine, it should use OpenPy XL. Okay, that should be the engine. Okay, so we have created a part for uploading our data. So let's run our application and see what we have now. So for you to run the Streamlit application, you say Streamlit run, then dot Streamlit run, then you put your application name and the extension to tell the command that this is a Python file. Okay, so let's wait for it to run. Okay, perfect. So this is our application, so it's coming into shape. So let's divide our screen such that as we are developing the application, we see the changes that will be happening on our application. All right, so we've put the titles and put the part for uploading files. If you click here, you can see, you can then upload the data. So that part is sorted. So now we want to put the drop downs in the sections for drawing the graphs. Okay, so first of all, we want to draw just basic graphs based on the categorical variable that is within our data. Okay, all right, so here let's name this selecting specific categorical variables that we can visualize. Okay, so for us to do that, let's create a variable. Let's call it group by the column, because these variables will be in form of columns. Okay, this goes to Streamlit dot. Here we want to select box size that will be able to use the drop downs. Okay, and we want sort of like a heading that will guide or act as an instruction to the one who will be selecting the variables. So we'll say which categorical variables you want or would you like to analyze. Okay, let's put a comma here, and then here let's put the options for the categorical variables. So the first option, here we have business travel. My bad that we didn't show you the actual data. So this is the data. So you can see for the data we have age, the business travel, daily rate, departments, etc., job role, marital status, performance, and then attrition here. So we have a number of variables. So those are the variables that we are going to, the categorical variables that some of them that you want to visualize on the first option there. Okay, so let's go back to our code. So the first one, so maybe, so because of time, maybe we are not going to put all the variables, so let's put just a few. So we can have one is business travel, we can have department. Okay, so as you're putting these names for the categorical variable, make sure that they are exactly the same as the one in the Excel sheet. Okay, so we have education. Let's put one more. Let's work with gender. Okay, so for the sake of time, let's work with these few ones. Okay, so these ones are the variables that we are going to use. So let's save and let's rerun. Okay, so if we import our data here, open. Okay, so you can see now we have our drop down with all the department or the variables that we've just chosen there, but nothing will happen because we haven't put the part where yes, then supposed to plot the graph. Okay, so let's move on. So now we want to plot the graph now. So we want to make sure that when someone chooses gender there, they should be able to then, the app should be able to plot a graph that is specifically for gender. So this section here, so here we'll say here we plot this. So here we are just plotting a simple graph in this first section. So let's write, so we say Streamlit. Let's put a sub header there. So we want to make sure that when we are plotting the graph, the app automatically picks the variable that we have chosen on the drop down. So for us to do that, let's use f strings for that. So we then say graph. So this will be the title of that graph. So graph showing the distribution of, so let's use curly brackets. So we want to show it, to want it to give us a name of the variables that we have chosen here. So we have to go to write this variable name, say that whatever that will be chosen here, if they choose business travel, it will show it will give us the name for business travel. If you choose, someone chooses department, it will give us the name for the department. Okay, so we just put the variable name there, a column. Okay, all right. Okay, so once we do that, we then move on to the part. Let me scroll up so that we see everything here. So we want our chart named fig SNS. So this is what you do when you want to use Seaborn and want a categorical plot, and one that they want to use data from the data frame, and then we want our x-axis to come from that variable that that we created. What did you do here? It's supposed to, yes, just supposed to give me this name. And then in terms of the type of the graph, let's make it a count. Okay, and then we can then try to customize a bit in terms of the colors. So let's use palettes here. Okay, so here we're going to use these codes. You can then search it, or you can go on uh, on Seaborn website and check the different pillars that will be there, and let's set the rotation to 0.3. Okay, all right, yeah, I think this should be fine. And then uh, for for app to display the graph, let's call Streamlit dot pyplot, which is this one. Okay, and then put the name of our graph, which is fig. Okay, If there's no mistake, this should work. So let's rerun our application. So you can see here it has we had chosen gender, so it has plotted a graph for gender, and here you can see the graph showing the distribution of gender. So if we choose department, you can see here the text is changing also. It's saying now the distribution, graph showing the distribution of department, and then plus the graph for department. So if you choose another variable for education, it also changes here. So this is the part that we did with f strings. So the first part is done. So we now let's move to the section where we will be doing the exploration, which is where we'll be plotting these variables against attrition, whereby maybe we'll be trying to find out exactly the factors that are affecting the trends that are there in terms of like the relationship between attrition and these demographic variables. So in this section, we'll be plotting. So here we plot the relationship between attrition, attrition and the selected categorical variables. Okay, so we want to make sure that whatever categorical variable that we have chosen there at the top, they should then be able to be plotted against attrition, and we then see the trends. So let's create the graph. So again, we then to this. So for the sake of time, we can copy this. This part is not going to change. You can copy as it is, paste it here. All right, and then the next part is the one that maybe we change a bit. So for the graph, let's call it fig. Since we already have fig, let's call this fig 1, and then cbond dot here we don't want to use the categorical plots, we want to use the distribution plots like here. Okay, again we're going to use the same data frame. We want our the x-axis to be the group by column, and then our u should be the attrition that we want to group by, since we want to group by attrition. Okay, let's put a multiple of George. This should be multiple. Okay, I think the spelling is correct. All right, let's use George here, and then in terms of the size, let's shrink. We want to shrink our graph to 0.8. Let's use 0.8. We'll then change depending on how the graph will come out. Okay, so for us to display the graph, remember we save pyplot, and then we give the name of the graph. So ours is fig 1. Okay, let's save, let's rerun and see if it is working. So this part we've done already. Okay, all right, so we have an error here, got an unexpected keyword to why is this It shouldn't be distribution. Let's should remove this. Let's remove this T here. Save, because this one is an important attribute. Okay, done. It works. It worked. Okay. So this is the part that you also need to be careful about in terms of like some of these properties that are now being used. Some of the um, things will have been changed, so you have to cross check. Okay, so now you can see that here we plotted a graph on education, a simple graph on education, and now we are comparing attrition for each educational level. Okay, which means that now we are doing more exploration, which means that now if we choose business travel, we have our graph of business travel here, and then our graph that is comparing attrition between the people that traveled less or more and stuff like that. So this will then give insights to the decision makers to see whether which category of employees leave the organization by whether they travel a lot or not. And then we can choose, let's say we choose gender here. You can also see the distribution, okay, of employees, the attrition of employees by gender. And you can see here the name will always change the moment you choose any different categorical variable there. So we have done for the categorical variables. So now uh, let's create another one for the continuous variables. So we have to first create again, like we did on top. We first create a selector for the continuous variable, and then we then create um, we then create the graphs for those continuous variables. So for the sake of time, we are going, since in terms of the selector and everything, the code is the same. We are going to copy. So we can actually copy all of this and then make a few changes there. So let's copy this. Um, um, okay. So this section. So for this section, we are saying here we now create a selector for the continuous variables. Okay, so let's paste. Let's remove this. Okay, so we can't use the same name here because remember we are using the same variable on top there. So let's say group by, let's say continuous, okay, columns, and then our selector box, and then here instead of categorical variables we should now say continuous variables. Would you like to analyze? And then in terms of our continuous variables here, we have age, daily rate, which is this daily salary, cost of hiring, monthly salary, um, number of companies worked, years with current manager, training, last training that was done. So let's choose just a few. So I think we can start with age. Sure, age is very important. So let's choose age. Yeah. What else should we put? Let's put cost. Let's put cost of hiring. So remember again to check that you are writing the right titles there, or the right headings for the columns. Let's take monthly salary as one of our variables. And then maybe we need one more. Let's use yes at the common, which is the experience. Yes. Is it company? Okay, I think we can work with this for now. All right, and then the next section, like we did on top of now let's uh, um, uh, draw a graph where we compare the relationships. So this is not a simple a simple a simple graph. Here we want the one that shows the relationship between the different variables. So here we say we plot the relationship between attrition and the uh, continuous variables. Okay, and then our head at the graph showing the distribution of the graph showing the this should be the relationship. Okay, the relationship between attri attrition and right, and then our remember we changed our name here. This is the name for the continuous variables that we would have selected. Okay, and then okay, now draw the graph. So here I think we can delete this. Don't think it's appropriate at the moment. And then we have to give this one, so we should be fig 2. Okay, so here we use, let's use plot. Okay, we take the same data frame in terms of the kind of the graph. Let's use box plots, and then in terms of our y, the y should be the group by the variable that is representing the continuous variables that we are selecting on the selector there. And then in terms of the x-axis, this one we can use attrition. Okay, I think this should be okay. And then next, when for us to plot it, let's put the correct graph name. Let's save and see how it's working, if we have an error or not. Oh, okay, it's working perfectly, there's no error. Okay, so you can see now we have our selector for continuous variables, and these are the 4 continuous variables that um, we chose there. So if you put cost of hiring, you can see it draws another graph, the graph showing the relationship between attrition and cost of hiring, and this will be the graph. Okay, and if you choose monthly salary, Okay, it changes the graph showing the relationship between attrition and monthly salary, and that's the graph. Okay, so by doing this, you have actually turned so your Excel sheet into a data visualization application. So by doing this, you'll be done. So let's put it on a large screen there. So here, if you remove the data, you can import the data. Okay, once you import the data, you have to choose. The first one is for categorical variables. Once in terms of the categorical variable that you have chosen, first you plot a simple graph, and then a graph that is comparing the categorical variable against attrition. So, and then there are these issues of overlapping text. So your homework is then to find out how to uh, fix that in terms of like making that text small so that it fits on the graph. And then here, if you come here, you choose any variable that you want, which is monthly salary. You can then see your graph. So that's it. Thank you very much.